your waking life, which is just a dense stream, and you analyze that movie, then it's like, holy fuck, you're analyzing the fabric of existence as it permeates into this three-dimensional reality, right? And it's just...
You're the best around, and nothing's ever gonna get you down. And if it does, that's okay, because being down is an okay state to be in as well.
Now, today I want to talk about analyzing your dreams. So as you know, I'm really into Carl Jung and all of his crazy-ass motherfucking shit. And one thing that he proposes a lot is to analyze your dreams, and it's something I guess I've always neglected until more recently, and I've been starting to do it, and it's been really interesting. So I want to kind of tell you about how I am doing it and what kind of results I've gotten. Carl Jung's theory essentially is that your dreams are a way for your unconscious to communicate to you, and I think while that's true, I think there could be other aspects of dreams that could be just beyond that, but let's use dreams today for that purpose of trying to figure out what your unconscious is trying to tell you. What I'm doing right now is I write my dreams down, and instead of trying to focus on the external things that happen, like I was a video game character fighting monsters in this place with my friends, da 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 da. Okay, that's a scenario, but again, what I find ultimately is the most meaningful is how you felt during that dream. So, you know, refer back to my video on feeling, how it's like the fundamental thing that kind of makes us human in a way. It's like that divine feeling that we get, right? That you can't fabricate. It's like it's something there, right? That wants to get through. So focus on the feeling. So, for example, I had a dream where I was a blue lion man from Final Fantasy X, and I was fighting monsters in this place with my, my party members and stuff like that. And the main things I felt was power was one, because I was really powerful, and also guilt, because I was guilty for feeling more powerful than my party members. So in that dream, I'll tell you quickly kind of how it happened, and then how I'm breaking it down as a way to maybe help you. So. In the dream, I was this blue lion guy, which to me feels like strength. Like when I think of him and becoming him, it's like I'm a strong, earthy character that's just like very reliable and stable and strong, right? And that feels great, it's a very like sick feeling. And in the dream, I ended up stealing a weapon from a shop that made me really strong. So when I was fighting monsters, I was doing a lot more damage to the monsters than my party members, and part of me was like, whoa, I feel so cool, I feel so powerful, and this feels really good. But then another part of me was like, oh shit, I kind of stole this power. I'm using a power that I don't deserve, and I feel guilty for using this power, right? And then later on in the dream, we eventually make back to the shopkeeper, and I'm like, hey shopkeeper, I'm so sorry, I stole this weapon. Here, here it is, I'm really sorry. And he was like, oh, well, I didn't actually even notice, it's like, I didn't really care. Like, if anything, I'm really glad that someone put this weapon to a good use. So, and then that feeling was like a huge sign of relief. So how I analyzed that dream was, okay, I'm a blue sexy lion guy with a lot of power, so I have an inner power in me, an inner strength in me that I know that I have, but I feel guilty for expressing that power to fully walk into my true strength, because a part of me feels like, oh, if I outshine my peers, they might be envious of me, or they might, try and cut me down, or blah, 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 blah. Therefore, I purposely pre-cut myself so that other people can't cut me down. And then what happened is like, when I told the shopkeep of my guilt, he was like, no, it's fine. If anything, it's good. It's almost like my unconscious telling me, like, this is what you're feeling, but maybe this is a message from my higher self or whatever, but it's like, it's actually good. Like, not only should you not feel guilty about being powerful, but it's really useful. It's like, look, I'm glad someone is putting some power to use, otherwise it just gets sitting there doing jack all, right? So to me, like, that was kind of the message of how I interpreted it. Essentially, how I analyzed it was like, so first of all, I would write down everything that kind of happened, and then I would go into the feelings of like, okay, what did I feel? Okay, I felt power. Why did I feel powerful? Well, because I had this weapon, and I felt really good. I felt really good. Oh, and I did more damage. I was really good. But then I felt guilt. Oh, why did I feel guilt? Oh, I felt guilt because I was doing more than my party members. And oh yeah, fuck, I stole this weapon. I don't deserve it. I feel like I'm undeserving, because I stole this weapon. Oh, but then I felt relief because the shopkeeper didn't mind. I was like, oh, okay, well, in that case, maybe it's okay for me to be in power. So, I mean, essentially, I would journal. So I would free write, free association, or I forgot the term, but essentially you just write without thinking. Kind of like how I do journaling, as you know, I've made a journaling video to kind of go through your own feelings, but it's like you write the feelings, but off your dream, and then what ends up happening, at least for me, and I think this could happen for you as well if you're just, you know, let your heart pour out everything that wants to be expressed, is like you kind of figure out the train of feelings that is guiding you, and it's like main feeling, and then if you write long enough, usually I find you'll find some sort of message or some sort of theme. And to make sure that you're actually getting the right message and you're not just kind of delusionally pulling stuff, it's like, it should feel right. It's like a feeling of resonance. It's like, oh fuck, like eureka, like ta-da, and you know, an exclamation mark above your head, and you're like, oh okay, yeah, I think that's it. This feels right, you know. And for me, this dream, that kind of felt like that. That's kind of like, and it's something that I've always felt, I suppose, throughout my life, and it's something I've always been dealing with. So, you know, even things of like tarot readings or astrology or whatever, it's like what one person say might mean different things to different people, but it's like it doesn't really matter. There's no objective message, let's say with tarot, right? It's like whatever comes out that resonates with you, that's what you needed to hear, and that's all that matters. It's like you don't need to prove yourself to anyone that this is the meaning or whatever, right? So it's like as long as you find some sort of resonance in your dreams, then I think it's really helpful. And then to give you a quick example of another dream, just a really quick one. It's like I was on a train and I was meant to be headed somewhere, and I had this like plan in my head. It's like, okay, I really got to go there. I want to go. And then I missed the train stop, and I was like, fuck, I missed it again, because apparently this keeps happening in a dream. It's like I keep missing the places that I really intentionally wanted to go, or like I planned to go, right? And I was getting all like frustrated and kind of like beating myself up, right? But then I ended up on this beach that was really awesome, and I'm like, holy fuck, I'm so glad I'm here. I'm so glad I wasn't like fucking so hung up on that that missing the stop that I couldn't, you know, even enjoy this. Because oh, and a part of me was like, oh fuck, you know, I missed a train stop. I want to get off at the next station so then I can catch the train back to the one I intended to go, right? But then I was like, fuck, that's really annoying. I can't be bothered doing that. It's like, that's such a hassle. Fuck it, I'm just gonna let it go. I let it go. I got to the next station. It was a beach. It was fucking magical. And some other shit happened that I haven't really figured out. But anyway, from that one section, I was like, okay, in my own life, I think I have a very intentional, let's say, way of wanting things to happen. It's like, I want this to happen now and this, you know, maybe my ego trying to make things happen. And it's like, when it doesn't happen, it doesn't mean that, you know, shit hits the fan and all is fucked. But it's like, sometimes when things don't happen the way maybe you planned it, that you're so desperately trying to force to make happen, it's like, it might be for the best, and that's like the divine path that is perhaps better for you. And it's like, you can only really enjoy what is naturally divine if you're willing to let go of what your ego has constructed for you to do that you have to do. And it's like, fuck it, let it go, surrender to the flow of the infinite expanse. And then maybe you'll end up on a cool beach and like have a good time. So that's the other dream. So I would urge you to analyze your dreams, because the fucking trippy thing is, once you start analyzing your dreams to a certain point, and my next video will be on this, you can analyze your life like you analyze your dreams, because you'll find that in life you'll have reoccurring patterns and people and feelings that come up over and over and over again, and like a dream, those feelings have a message for you to learn. So it's like if you analyze your dreams like you analyze a movie, you know, for example, like in English class back in high school, you got to make up all this bullshit about all of these themes, how it applies to these things. It's like, okay, you know how to analyze a movie. And then a dream is kind of like a movie. You analyze your dream of a movie, then you analyze your waking life, which is just a dense dream, and you analyze that movie. Then it's like, holy fuck, you're analyzing the fabric of existence as it permeates into this three-dimensional reality, right? And it's just it's mildly exciting, you know, to say the least. So and also I just want to say, it's like there might be universal like dream symbols where, you know, for example, water might represent your subconscious or whatever, right? But I would not get too hung up on that. So it's like something happens in your dream, maybe you go on Google, you look up, oh, what does my teeth falling out in my dream mean? And then it'll have all these different feelings. But it's like ultimately and this is where, you know, your like English movie analysis bullshitting skills comes in. It's like, okay, how do you interpret this in a way that actually makes sense to you? Not just the fundamental, meaning that might apply to everyone. It's like, no, this is for you. Your dreams are for you. Well, actually, everything is for you if you want to break it down that way. And it's like, how does this make sense in the context of me? And it's like you analyze it through that, and don't get too caught up on like, okay, this happened, therefore if I look it up on Google it means this, and then you try and piece it together that way. Like that's more of a mental like a lesser, like egotistical perhaps way of doing it, rather than letting your divine feelings, the divine flow to interpret the message that comes out, using your intuition, shall we say, versus using your logic, which could be limited to this three-dimensional plane, whereas your intuition goes far beyond that. So holy fuck, it is getting dark, but yes, I would encourage you to analyze your dreams, have some fun. If anything happens that is interesting, feel free to drop a comment below. Otherwise, keep being above average, my friends. Essentially, well, first and foremost, you want to remember your dream. So if you have a dream, it helps if it's vivid. Like, you don't need to force yourself to write a dream if you can barely remember it. Like, if you have an impactful, juicy dream, it's like there might be something there for you. So, write your juicy dream down. Doesn't really matter. Just write down as much as you can, or just little bullet points as much as you can, and you get your dream